Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. It'll be 6 weeks tomorrow since I got sick, and I am just starting to come out of it now. So, yeah, it was a doozy. Our whole family caught a cold, and then we caught it again, and mine lingered. I mean, from somebody who comes with a chronic illness background, colds and flu season are usually very tough on me. I would say, very vulnerable to them. And having had pneumonia 4 times in my life, I'm always susceptible to that as well. So this was such a doozy, I can't tell you. I did all my natural protocols, and yet I was sick in bed for 5 weeks, where I could get out for 10-minute periods, and that's it. So I did get pneumonia. I did have the full cold, the full flu, throwing up, fevers, chills, full cycle of colds, coughs, everything. It did develop into pneumonia, and I was very scared because I didn't want to get antibiotics because of my history. And the last time I ended up having to take antibiotics for pneumonia, which was 4 or 5 years ago, it did set me back and brought back some of my other chronic illness symptoms that I was recovering from, and it put me into a deep flare and a deep setback. So I was reluctant, and so I can't talk about the natural protocols that I did use on this channel, which is ridiculous because it's a natural health channel, and I want to impart that wisdom to you, but I will give it to you in another medium. I will give you a protocol, but I did use it and was able to get rid of my pneumonia. I did end up going to the emergency room on the weekend. I went about 4 days ago, and I wanted them to give me an x-ray, even though I do not like the blast of radiation that you can get from an x-ray. But I really, especially since I was healing it myself, wanted to make sure that I was on top of the pneumonia. And I also had them take blood so that I could make sure that my electrolytes and everything, because some of the protocols I was doing, I was playing with a lot of my levels. I wanted to make sure that my levels were in balance. All of my blood chemistry looked good. And I just wanted to make sure that I was on top of what I was doing. So I got a blood draw, and I did get an x-ray. The results were great. My lungs looked clear by then. So the protocol worked, and pneumonia gone. As well as the blood levels all looked great, and the electrolytes looked great, even though I'm sure at some point they had been thrown off. So what's left of everything now, unfortunately, it'll be 6 weeks tomorrow, is it did bring back, I would say, a couple of symptoms, unfortunately. So I'm left with severe vertigo. So vertigo is something that I suffered with, and it was debilitating, and this vertigo is not great. It's pretty bad. So it's 24/7. It's like the cruise ship feeling. It's very disorienting. I can only do so many things before I'm completely thrown off balance. Yeah, it's been really tricky. So I have now left with vertigo, and I'm left with extreme fatigue. So I was so exhausted, and my extreme fatigue, now that I'm through it, is still there. So I'm up now out of bed, but I can only do a task, sit down for a little bit, do another task, sit down. So I have a lot of heavy breathing. I'm very, very fatigued, and the vertigo is really throwing me off and contributing to everything. So those symptoms came back. Now, would it be my chronic fatigue syndromes back? Would it be the vertigo is totally back, or is this a temporary setback? I don't know, but I'm, continuing to do the protocol that I'm going to do and that I've been doing to get rid of everything to help it. So I'm sort of putting it on supercharge now. So that's unfortunate because, as many of you know, at my worst, I suffered with over 200 life-threatening symptoms, and I was down to about 3 or 4 left out of everything. So being completely non-functional. I still get monthly migraine headaches around my cycle. I have pain, neck pain and facial pain. I still have nerve pain from some severe nerve damage, but it's certainly not all over my body like it used to be. Pain was what I was really concerned about, and still continuing to working on healing. The chronic fatigue syndrome, all of that, like everything else left long, long ago. So I guess, you know, now that I have the extreme fatigue back, I really hope it's not going to be, you know, a reemergence of chronic fatigue syndrome. So I just wanted to give you that update. I've also been pretty silent on YouTube before the 6 weeks because just everything going on in the censorship. But I've made some decisions while I was in bed just thinking. I made some decisions. I do want to continue my channel. I do want to continue to give natural health advice. I think it's so important, specifically what I just went through. It showed me that it's so important that we have these resources and they're not censored, and that we can draw from this wealth of knowledge of natural health. I'm going to be, you know, putting it into practice now too. I've got to heal some of these symptoms. I'll be working on it, getting my energy back, getting my strength back, knocking this vertigo back, and continuing on with some of the pain. And I expect to be free 100% this year. This is going to be my year. And I want to share everything with you. I have had to put the course on hold, but it's coming together, and hopefully it will be soon. I know it's much longer than I promised, but it is, you know, really in depth. So I hope it will be ready soon, whenever I can get the chance, you know, probably here and there. But after Christmas in January, I'm really going to put the pedal to the metal. I'm also going to be starting daily YouTube videos again. So I'm so excited about that. We'll just, you know, put everything else on a shelf that we're not allowed to talk about. And if I need to talk about something, I'll direct you over to Rumble. But I am just going to continue to make daily videos for as long as I will be allowed. Healing is a lifelong skill that we need. It's everything that helps us, from the common cold and flu to something like pneumonia, to our autoimmune conditions, to cancer, to everything. So we definitely need to learn. Mind, body, soul, we have to heal it all. So again, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.